Hey guys, video number 2. Right now, this is a follow-up to the last video that we gave out some pro tips when playing any type of a pattern. So briefly to go over that one more time. Here we go. So the bottom line is, if you're going to play any type of a pattern, whether it's a 6 pattern, a 7 pattern, or a 5 pattern, what we explained in the last video, and you should go watch it to really grasp this topic, is that you don't need a grand martingale. You don't need to do any kind of martingale doubling up. Because the right way to play patterns, in our opinion, in a conservative way, is to cheat the math. And the way that you cheat the math is not jumping into the pattern instantly anyway. Okay? So we showed that in the last video, that if we're going to play, let's say, a 5 pattern, we're going to let it lose 1 or 2 or 3 times before we jump in, right? Because the odds of, there's 32 different patterns when you're talking about a 5 pattern. There's 32 different patterns. To lose, it has to be the exact death pattern, which is the exact opposite of the 5 pattern that you're playing. So if you don't want a martingale or any kind of craziness, if you're patient, you can wait for 2 losses or 3 losses before you jump in. And by doing that, you're only having to make 2 bets maximum. And then you can do something like a 1-3 or a 1-2. If you're doing it like here, and let's say you're waiting for 3 bets, and you're gonna be willing to make 3 bets, you can do what we showed in the last video, which is to do a 1-2-4, a 1-3-5, or a 1-2-3 rolling. Okay? So there's lots of different ways to play this without martingaling and being stupid. So what I'm going to do now, and we'll see if it works out. It may not work out because, we're looking for certain things to happen. But we're just going to do this and show you how it plays out. So I'm going to use the quote-unquote strategy that I used early on, months and months and months ago, playing the 5 pattern. So I pre-wrote down random 5 patterns, okay, a banker player, all right? So here we go. So we're going to try it both ways. We're going to wait, and we're going to see if we can get 2 losses, and then we're going to try to play it more conservatively and see what happens if we wait for 3. I just want to give you guys an idea as to how to play this. So let's go ahead and deal, right? That's a tie. That doesn't count. All right. That was a banker win. Okay, so that's a win. So this pattern we would never be playing. Right? We wouldn't play this because we already had our 1 win. Let me put this on what do you call it here? Hold on 1 second, guys. This is making me crazy. Okay. That's a W. I wish it was bigger than that, but there we go. And it's not going to keep, unfortunately. Okay, so now the way that we play this, I know a lot of people play patterns differently, is that I don't jump right into the next pattern. We use this as virtual, we just let them fly. So basically, I'm going to do 4 no bets. That doesn't count, so I need to do 1 more because that was a tie. Okay, there you go. All right, so these are just X's. That's the way I do it. I know everybody does patterns differently, but this is the way I do a pattern. Once it wins, you just let the rest of them go. So now, here's the next pattern I wrote down, right? Here's the next pattern. So it's going to start right now. So we're going to deal. Unfortunately, it's an instant win, right? It's an instant win. All right. So again, we've got to do 4. So this isn't helping me too much because we're winning too much. So we got to do 4. 1, 2, 3, That doesn't count. 3 and 4. Okay. So hopefully I can show you guys what it looks like. All right. So that's another one where we would not have gotten in because we're waiting for losses. So let's start the next pattern right here. And if we have to, we'll just go back up and erase and keep going. So now we're looking for a loss here. That's what we're looking for. So we want a player here. There it is. Okay, so there's a loss. So we'll just put an L. And now we want another loss. That's the whole point of this. We want another loss. And we got to win, unfortunately. All right? So the reason we're doing this, as you guys saw in the last video, is our chances increase because we know we don't have to bet. We don't have to bet all 5. So even if the death pattern comes, we're going to lose less money. We want to lose less money. So what we're doing is we're waiting for multiple losses in the pattern before we jump in. So let's just finish off these 3. Okay. So hopefully we can get a few more losses, and usually that happens, as you guys are well aware. So here we go again. This is our next 5 pattern. Okay, that's a loss. Good. That's what we want to see. And now let's see the next one. And these are virtual plays, right? We're not playing. Unfortunately a 1. Okay. So we haven't had any go beyond the 2 yet. So let's do our 3. Whoop, 1 more. Ties don't count. Okay. So, of course, all of our 5 patterns are winning immediately. All right, so let's go on to our next one. Here we go. You know we're going to have a loser eventually, and that's what we're waiting for. And it's not here. That is a winner. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the top, to the first pattern, because I just wrote down so many. Whoops. And come on. All right. All right, let's just start there. All right, so here we go, right? Did we do our, what do you call it on the bottom? I don't even know. Let's start a new shoe. Let's start a new shoe. How's that? And maybe it'll cooperate and have us lose a little bit. Okay, new shoe. All right, so here we go. So we're back to the top, right? We're back to the top. We're going to deal again, and we're waiting for our opportunity. Okay, so that's a loss. And now we want to win. We want to lose 1 more time. So we want another player. Hey, we got it, finally. Okay, 2 losses in a row, right? So now, for purposes of the demo only, right? For purposes of the demo only, because we're waiting too long. Okay, we're waiting too long, all right? We're going to jump in on this bet. So we're waiting for 2. If you're really patient, you can wait for 3 losses, which we haven't seen yet. But we haven't played that long. It's no big deal. So we're going to jump in on the after the second loss, just to show you guys in the demo. And what we'll do is we'll do a, what do we want to do? A 1-2-4? Let's do a 1-2-4. Okay, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let's see what we're going to do. We'll do a 1-2-4. You can use whatever you want. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to play for the pattern, right? We're going to play for the pattern win, which is a player bet is called for here. So we're just going to do our $10 player bet. And we win. Okay. But you understand the reason here for showing this is that at the very worst, we would have made 2 more bets here, as opposed to 5 bets. So this is a win. All right? Simple as that. You have to be more patient to play this way. Okay? So now we do our 2 freebie bets, our virtual bets. Okay. We'll just put an X like we always do. And we have our winning block, right? We win our unit. And now we're virtually looking for 2 losses or 3 losses, whatever we're doing. Again. That's a player. That's a win. So we can't do anything here. Okay? So now we have to do our 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So that block is not playable because we didn't get at least 2 losses that triggered us in. Right? That's what we're trying to do. Okay. So here's the next block. Here we go. We're looking for a player. And it's another block that it won. So we have to do another 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right. Now, some of you guys don't play the patterns the way that I do. You jump right into the next pattern. You wouldn't have to do that. I just don't do that. And there's nothing wrong with playing it either way. It really doesn't matter, I don't think. All right, so here we go. So let's see if we get another possible play. Banker. That's a loss. That's good. All right. So let's hope for another loss, which would be another player. A player. There it is. Okay. So here we go. So we're using our trigger for this demo as 2 losses in the 5 pattern. Now we're going to come out and make this bet, right? That it's not going to be the death pattern. We're betting that we're going to get a win here somewhere. So that it's not the automatic death pattern, which is the opposite of this. So we're betting player for 10 again. And we lose. Okay, that's a loss. So now we're using a 1, 2, 4 just for purposes of the demo. So we're going to now bet 20 on player, right? 20 is what we're supposed to be doing here, 20 on player. And we lose. Look at that. Now we're down to our final bet, which is a 4-unit bet. So that's 40 on banker. And this is our last bet, win or lose. And we lost. Okay? So we lost 1 unit. We lost 2 units. And we lost 4 units. So this is actually a losing block. All right? And you can lose doing this, just like any other pattern. So we won a unit up here. So we're down for the shoe right now. But the purpose of showing this is we're only down 6 units right now. Okay? If you were grand martingaling or any kind of martingaling here, do you know how much you'd be down? All right? And that's what I'm trying to show you guys over the last video in this, is that you're trying to limit your losses by playing more conservatively. And the way we're doing that in patterns is to let it lose a few times, because most of the time it's going to win one of these bets. And it didn't here, right? It didn't. All right? But you're not down 57 units or whatever, okay? Like you would be down if you were playing the Grand Martingale. You'd be down 57 units. We're down 6 units. Who cares? Okay, so we're off to the next one here. All right? And that's a loss, which is good. Now let's see if we can get our second loss. And we did. So now it triggers us to go back out, and here's our first real bet. It's going to be on player for 10. Because we're back in our 1, 2, 4 mode. We don't keep going. When you're using a 3-bet system like this, you're not going up and up and up. You're just going to go back to your first bet. You understand? That's the way it works. All right, and that's how you have a lower bankroll and you don't have these giant swings off the cliff when something goes bad for a while. So here we are. We're on $10. We're looking for a player. And we win right away. Okay? No big deal. Now we're going to take our two free results. Okay? All right. And we're just redoing these. You know, normally I'd have 11 or 12 of these random ones written down. I didn't do that. Okay, here we go. So we're back at the top again. We're back at this one. All right, so let's see if we can get some more bets. All right, that's a tie. No big deal. Okay, that's a banker, which means it's an X. Okay, so we have to do 4 freebies. Okay. All right. So here we are on our next pattern. Let's go. It's a tie. Okay, good. It's a banker. So that's a loss. All right. So we need to see one more loss, the way that we're playing it anyway. And unfortunately, that was a win. So that's another pattern that we can't play. So now we're going to just do the 3 freebies. Okay, and now we're on to the next pattern. Here we go. Okay, good. That's a loss. And that's a loss. Good. Excellent. All right, so we are playing this pattern, and we're going to be on banker. Right? We're going to be playing banker for 10. And we win right away. Okay? So that's a win. We have to take 2 freebies. Okay? And we're on to our next pattern. Got to have patience when you play this way. You got to have patience. And unfortunately, that was a winner. So we're going to have to take 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So now we're on to the next pattern. Okay, that's a loss, which is great. And we'll see what happens on the second one. We need a banker for it to be a loss. It's a win. Okay. All right. So let's just roll back up to the top. Right? You see how easy this is, right? And I'm not showing you this as a system. I'm showing you how you don't have to make 5 bets. And you don't have to get into some crazy progression. That's the point of this. We're down right now like $40. Okay, that's it. $40. I would have lost 57 units if I was playing the way that we used to play with the Grand Martingale. Okay, 57 units. That bankroll was gone. I'm down 6 units right now. Who cares? Here we go. Okay, that's a loss, which is great. Let's see. Let's hope we get another one. And that's a loss. Great. So that's triggering us in. And now we're going to play for a player for 10. That's a tie. We're just going to repeat it. And it's a win. Okay? We take 2 freebies, 2 virtual hands. Okay? We're off to the next pattern. Here we go. That's a win, unfortunately. So we're going to have to take 4 freebies. One more. Okay. All right, here we go. We're on the next pattern. Ah, that was a tie. Got to do one more. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we go. All right, that's a win. So we're done with this pattern. Ties don't count. Okay, on to the next pattern. Here we go. That's a win. So we cannot play this pattern. All right, and we're on our last pattern again. Okay, that's a loss. We need one more loss to trigger us in. And it did not happen. Okay, so you guys get the idea. Let me do it one more time. And again, I'm not showing you this. This is not being shown to you as a quote-unquote system. This is being shown to you, oh God. This is being shown to you to show you the power of being able to play any kind of patterns using the virtual waiting period. Okay? That's all I'm trying to tell you. That's all I'm trying to tell you. And the reason we're doing that is to cut down on the number of bets that you have to make. So the amount of money that you're putting on the table. So let's go. Okay? Dead pattern. Up, end of the hand. End of the shoe. Okay. So that is the story. I hope you guys understand. Now, let me just talk about a couple of other things here. So we did this little demonstration with a 5 pattern. Okay. This works with anything that you're doing. Now, I wasn't getting enough losses to be patient enough to wait for 3 in a row. If you're patient enough in roulette, if you have a pattern, or in Baccarat, you can wait for 3 in a row to bust the pattern. Right? To play the last 2. In that case, you can do a 1-3 bet or a 1-2 bet, right? Whatever you want to do. I didn't want to do that for the demo because you saw how many times we weren't even getting the 2 losses. All right? So you can do the same thing in roulette if you're using a pattern in roulette. You know, a lot of people use red, black, black, whatever, right? You can do the exact same thing and wait for X number of losses to the pattern before you jump in. All right? And that is cutting down. It's you playing the patterns, but it's cutting down on the amount of bets that you need to make to be able to play the patterns. And yes, it's also cutting down on your opportunities, but who cares? Who cares? I don't play Baccarat or roulette and have fun because I'm making 1,000,000 bets. I play because I want to win. So I don't care that I'm sitting at the table and being patient enough to wait for 2 losses before I jump in, or 3 losses before I jump in. And remember, this works with any type of pattern. Here's a 7, right? Here's 7. You can wait for 4 losses and jump in for the last 3. Okay? If you're patient, you can do an 8 pattern and wait for 5 losses and jump in for the last 3. Here's a 6 pattern, right? A 6 pattern. You can wait for 3 and jump in for the last 3. So there are tons of different ways to play what I'm telling you. The reason I'm showing you the 5 pattern is because I played 5 patterns for a million shoes the other way. And now the only way I'll play a 5 pattern is after waiting for a loss, 2 losses, or 3 losses, and then jump in. I will never play a 5 pattern anymore straight out. So normally I'll wait for, like we just did, the 2 losses and then jump in with a money management of 3 steps, a 3-step progression, right? The 1, 2, 3, the 1, 2, 4, whatever it may be. Okay? If you're patient, wait for 3 losses and jump in with only a 2-step. And the beauty of it is, many, many times I can make my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units super fast and get out of the shoe without any stress because I'm not risking much, because I'm not martingaling. I'm not doubling. I'm only doing either 2 bets or 3 bets. That's it. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys understand the power behind waiting for virtual losses before getting in. And with that, we'll see you on the next video.